Hello, hello. Guess I'll get started creating a character. I have one in mind. Let's see. I'm gonna go with a monk. So, let's do this. Let's create a character. Drag it into the PC section. I didn't think of a name. Maybe when you guys show up, you can help. But I have an image that I want to share. I don't want to do it that way. I have on the downloads. This is my character. This is my character. There we go. That's my character. Here's my token. We'll be back to you. Go ahead and use the character mancer. Start with our race. Tabaxi. What 3 proficiencies? Our ASIs. do I want to pick? I think I want to do 2 of dexterity to start. And then 1 of wisdom. Alignment? I'm just neutral. I don't. I'm gonna go with orc. No. Yeah, orc, why not? Go with a monk. Gotta be proficient in acrobatics and insight, I think. Brewers. I am going to be a drunk master, or a drunken fighter, monk, which is from Xanathar's book. I think I have. Oops. Yeah. Does that do anything? It does not. Yeah, so we're going to do a standard array. I'm going to do... Hey, hey. Boo khaki. Ooh. I don't know if I should say that on here. Yeah. Boo khaki. Yes, if it's boo khaki, it's fine. Well, welcome to my stream. I need Heated entertainment. I would say legally. Okay. Oh, there's a good delay. I love it. Um, so I'm making a what's it called? Drunken Master. This is the strategy I'm going to go with. All right. Yeah, all the tabs. I'm going to prettify it at some point. Personal traits. I know a story relevant to almost every situation. Nah. Nobody stays angry at me. I get. Oh, that might be. Yeah. I'm bitter. Ideal. Let's see what my ideal is. Beauty, no. Tradition, no. That's the one. Alright. So, my bond. I want to be famous, whatever it takes now. Prove myself superior to my hated rival, no. Do anything for the other members. I want to be famous. No, I don't know. You can never roll for these? Is it like it glitches out? It's buggy? What you're saying? I think that's the one I measure against somebody else. That's weird. Do you, are you using Chrome or Firefox or something else? Something Canadian? Well, that's what I'm using. But are you using Canadian Chrome? That might be the problem. Sharp tongue. Despite my best efforts, I am unreliable to my friends. Oof. It was a mistake that I will likely repeat. I'm going to say that one makes the most sense for a drunken master. Yeah. Time to choose your equipment. Class equipment. Let's start with inventory. I'm going to do a short sword. And some darts. Oh, explorer's pack. Do I not get a ranged weapon? Or do I automatically get them because I'm a... We'll see. I have to spend a little extra. Musical instrument. A flute. And love letter. A trinket. That'll come up some point, maybe. Probably not. Yeah, I have no idea about arcane. I haven't done any hard work in a day in my life. My character, that is. Alright, I need a name. Echo of Ale. Legend says you can hear the clink of her flask before the fist starts. I like that. Shadow on barstool. Drinks in motion. Yeah, I'm gonna go with drinks in motion. I think so. I can change it later if I need to. Age, kind of young. What is a tabaxi age? Oh, hey. Getting a party up in her. What's their age? Come on. Between 16 and 65. I'm gonna go 20s. 24, why not? Young, drunk. 6 foot, 5'6". I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I don't care about weight. Eyes. Yellow, I think. I think so. Images. Yeah. Yellow hair is a orange. Skin. Yes, please. You've chosen the skill acrobatics, but you already have the skill for the background. Well, la-di-da. Let's figure something else out. Athletics, then. Psychic Mayhem, thanks for the follow. Oh, see, I'm a streamer. Look at this. I'm great. Yeah. All right. now for the challenging part. We have to figure out which game to play. Yeah, I'm gonna shrink that so I can see. Oh, I need to take that get that token set up anyways. All right, so you've got these three. Let me fix this real quick before I forget. Drinks in motion. It's like boots and pants. AC. That's what I want. Perfect. Make sure I set that on default. Update default. Save settings. Go here. Do one of these buttons. GA. And now I've got buttons. Buttons, buttons. Sweet. So, chat, whoever's in here. Which of these stories do we want? A murder mystery? Do we want a swashbuckling exploration or a survival adventure through a jungle? Murder. Murder, Marge. Murder. Okay. Murder it is. Good God. All right. We'll go to. That was Wolves of Langston. So, okay. Wolves of Langston. I don't need that yet. Instead, I need to minimize this. The Wolves of Langston. All right. I don't have anything to go to yet. I need another screen that's just blank. Oh, perfect. We'll come to the bird's eye view of that. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll through this to get to page 1. TOC. And then hide this sidebar. All right. Pull out this so that we have ready. Pull out this so we're ready. We can see a map. Oh, there were some other items I wanted to get first. Actually, I wanted to buy some. Just for flavor. Let me find my list. I wanted traveler's clothes. You said that you got murdered and my viewer count went down to 1 from 2. I thought you were joking. Traveler's clothes. flask of... If I'm a drunken fighter, I need to have a flask for sure. Actually, I wanted 3 flasks because can't have just 1 flask. That is not smart. What else did I want? I got my flute, didn't I? Yes, I have a flute. And my little token. I wanted a whetstone. I'm a fighter. I need to keep my blade nice and sharp. And an extra mess kit. Oh. But I don't want to talk about it. And that should bring me down to 12 gold, 5 silver, and 9 copper. All right. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The adventure begins. After a long day on the road, you crest a hill and see the lights of a town. According to maps and helpful locals, you've consulted. This must be Langston, though the last blush of sunset still colors the sky to the west. Lamplight is already visible at the gate and in the streets. In the dim twilight, you can clearly see that the dirt road you've been traveling transitions to cobblestones, and a simple stone wall rings the town. Even from this distance, you can see the timber-framed walls of the buildings in town are well maintained with fresh whitewash that glow golden in the lamplight. It's a beautiful little town, a prosperous trading hub nestled among the fertile farmland and old-growth forest you spent the last few days traversing. The stars are just starting to emerge as the lone howl of a wolf splits the silence off somewhere in the woods. A chorus of responding howls take up the call, some uncomfortably close and getting closer. You pick up the pace to put some distance between you and the wilderness in the hope of a soft bed, a hot meal, and some work for an enterprising adventurer. A town as prosperous as Langston looks like a place to do good, earn coin, and achieve glory. Maybe all 3 at once, so long as you aren't eaten by wolves between here and there. All right. We're going to roll our first roll of the game. And that is a wisdom check, perception check. And I want to, before I do that, I need to switch up the music to the wolves music. Or just have them both play. Is the music good level? Do you need to turn it down or anything? Let me know. Alright. Alright, we're going to do a perception check. Just normal roll. A 12. If you get more than a 10, go to 23. You hear something in the woods. Off to one side and spin in that direction. A pair of golden yellow eyes peers out of the dark underbrush, soon joined by a second pair. turning around, you see more eyes gathering in the gloom around you. Before you even consider it as an option, a shaggy dark gray wolf steps out onto the path behind you. Hopelessly outnumbered, you can either square up to fight the pack of wolves or sprint for the town. What do you think? Square up or sprint? I'm a level 1 monk. So I'm a monk, so I can punch things a lot. But I'm level 1. Sprint. Alright. You did. Sprint, so we're gonna go to 40. You take off down the road at a full sprint, running towards town as quickly as you can. You doubt it will be quick enough, but you will buy your time to think. When you dash, the woods to either side of you erupt with hungry wolves that take up the chase. You power through and get up over a rise in the road. Then you nearly trip over a dwarf examining some roadside plant in the moonlight. The moonlight is shining off the bald top of his head and playing around the edges of his red beard. He's just dressed simply in homespun cloth and animal skins. Your entrance has clearly startled him, and he throws his arms out as if to embrace you. "Hey, hey!" he cries out. "Watch yourself, traveler! What's all this about?" Several wolves scramble into view, but come to a skittering halt at the sight of the dwarf. He wags a finger at them like a stern tutor, and in unison the beasts whine and turn away. The whole pack slinks off into the woods again. Ooh, good call on the sprinting. "Well then, lucky for you I was here," he says with a wide grin and a slap on the back hard enough to throw you off your balance. He opens his mouth to speak again, but nothing comes out until he unleashes a sneeze that makes his beard bristle. You wait for him to regain his composure. "Oh, you must be hungry. Go straight down this road and you'll reach the town of Langston. Find the Pickled Hen, and if anyone asks, tell them Roy Sunderhammer sent you." You stammer out a thank you, despite the adrenaline coursing through you. Think nothing of it. I'm on my way there myself. Funeral, you see. Doing my druidic duty to the circle of life and all that." He guffaws, as if he just told a joke. "But before I do that, I'm going to have a bit of a chat with these naughty pups. They should know better." Before you have a chance to respond, the dwarf lopes off towards the woods with a surprisingly graceful gait given his stocky build. Between the darkness and another night on the road, or a hot meal and a soft mattress, it's hardly even a decision to head towards the lights of Langston. Your hopes for a meal and a friendly conversation are dashed with what you find in the marketplace. More specifically, you're disappointed with what you don't find. It's empty, filled only with a mournful hush. Street vendors are closed, windows are shuttered, lamplighters have still passed through to fill the square with warm pools of light, but everything feels muted under the weight of an oppressive sadness. You're looking around for someone, anyone, when a solitary figure in a white robe bustles out of a side street, nearly dropping a sheaf of paper. I'm guessing that's supposed to be sheet. No, it's a sheaf of papers. The robe's hood is down, so you can see that it is a young human woman with light blonde hair. Her robes bear sunburst motifs around the neck and collar, and a similar symbol made of gold hangs from around her neck. This appears to be some cleric. Do we call out to the cleric, or do we follow her down the empty streets? follow. Oh, we're gonna be creepy. I'm in with Tabaxi. I guess that kind of makes sense. And I'm stumbling Tabaxi. You follow at a safe distance, and the woman never looks around to check. She is clearly lost in thought, fidgeting and muttering to herself from time to time. Her expression alert alternates between angry and terrified. You stay with her as she takes a few turns before coming to an inn whose shingle identifies it as the Pickled Hen. You two are the only ones on the street, but she doesn't seem bothered traveling the town at night. You can see now that the cleric is a pretty young woman, but her eyes are dark with exhaustion, and her mouth is lined with some taxing emotion. She pauses and takes a deep breath as if to steady herself, then as if setting a mask in place, smiles brightly and kindly at no one in particular. She lets herself into the tavern on the inn's first floor with fluid familiarity. As she enters, you hear the sounds of people gathered and speaking amongst themselves, though the tone is more subdued than one typically hears in a tavern's common room. Do we follow her into the inn or hang back to look in the window to see what's happening? Fantasy racism. We're going to peek in the window. Alrighty, let's see what happens. 19. You find a window to peer into and see a packed room. It's almost impossible to guess how many people are inside, but it's at least 100. People seem to be speaking quietly to one another. That's a lot of people. And smell her hair. People seem to be speaking quietly to one another, though everyone seems to have a drink in their hand. You a prowler? Asks a timid voice. You spit on a young barmaid who seems to be throwing away some food scraps. She jumps more than you did as fear pinches her face. If you answer that you're a traveler and an adventurer, then you should probably go in, she says with a small smile. The mayor will want a word with you after the service, and the folks of Langston are a nice bunch, even in the face of so much grief. In life, Maybelline was the nicest person you'd ever met. She'd want everyone welcome at her funeral. Come on in. You follow the barmaid into the tavern. Then, do we also want to smell the barmaid's hair? Is that... No, that's the same message. Alright. The tavern is nearly full to capacity of townspeople, milling about, speaking quite quietly to one another. I don't know what I roll for smelling hair. Maybe sleight of hand? I don't know. The hum lacks the boisterous outbursts of laughter or shouts you normally associate with taverns. This crowded, and the answer quickly becomes apparent why. At one end of the common room there is a closed cassette on a table amidst what looks like hundreds of flower arrangements. A musician is strumming a lyre in a sad tune off in the corner. Deception check. Maybe. We should probably figure this out before we go any farther. No. As you are looking around, an older man is arguing with a huge half-orc woman with an impressive collection of battle scars and a suit tailored in a typical nobleman's style. Seeing you, the man grimaces and sways over to you. He reeks of ale and spirits, and his face sags in habitual sadness, but his eyes glitter with both tears and an unexpected rage. I don't know you, he slurs, stabbing a blunt finger in the air between you. Was it you? Did you do this? Or what else have you done? A few heads nearby turn as he throws his hands up into a fighting stance and starts bobbing unsteadily. The half-orc crosses her arms and watches the both of you carefully. You're at a funeral in a strange town, so violence is not an option. You can try to persuade him to leave you alone, or intimidate him into backing down. So I could do, it's probably persuasion or intimidation. Both ones. That's helpful. I think Drinks in Motion would do a not a scratch. I think I would be more of a persuasion now. I feel like I think we'd probably go like drinks on me kind of thing is where I would go. But intimidate, like you're saying, we've been creepy. Yeah. Do which is it? Deception, intimidate? You want to try to intimidate? Oh. Follow your heart. We're gonna try to persuade him. You raise your open hands and assure the man calmly that there was to be some kind of mistake. There's no need to fight, and certainly no need to ruin such a somber event. Alright. We're gonna go for persuasion. Try to get 12 or more. And no hero points. Got under 12. We'll go to 36. Don't you dare take that tone with me, vagabond. He snarls and takes a swing. But the blow is intercepted by the green-skinned hand of the half-orc in the suit. Her large hand is crisscrossed with scars and easily engulfs the man's fist. What are you doing, pup? Enough, she says. Time to go. Yeah, sure, Tanya, he says. I mean, Mayor Anathram. I mean, bye. The drunk slinks unsteadily out the door and leaves the tavern. You're about to say what you could have You're about to say that you could have handled him on your own when you see the half-orc's hard stare. Ooh. The female half-orc in the tailored suit looks at you, eyes scanning you up and down. I am Tanya Anathram, Mayor of Langston, she says with a nod. Her comment heavily accented with a guttural orcish twang. I may have use for you. Please stay for the funeral. I will speak to you after. You try to reply, but she is already walking away as the ceremony begins. A middle-aged human couple gets up and introduces themselves as Maybelline's parents. Though from the murmur of sympathy coming from the crowd, that seems well known. Thank you so much for coming out to say goodbye to our darling girl with us, the mother says. She was a ray of sunshine in our lives from the beginning, And we can see that she touched the lives of many of you as well. She was relentlessly kind, generous, and patient. We will all miss her dearly. The father of the deceased clears his throat, his eyes glassy. We are so grateful for the people of Langston. You made our daughter's life a joy, and you're making her loss more bearable, but we will not be seeing you for some time. A murmur runs through the crowd, but he holds up his hands for quiet. Every brick and blade of grass in this town reminds us of what we have lost. Every time we see your kind faces, we will only see the torn and broken body of our treasured daughter. So, we will leave and trust our capable mayor to bring the killer to justice. We will keep our peace at home, where we feel the closest to our daughter's memories. But we pray you bring the killer to swift justice. Excuse me. As he speaks, heads in the crowd turn to the mayor, who just nods to the citizenry. When you turn your attention to the grieving parents, the father's cheeks are wet with tears, but his teeth are gritted in a mute rage. Laying a gentle hand on her husband's arm, the deceased mother speaks up. But we are not the only ones to suffer a loss, she says in a crackling voice. We had Maybelline for her whole life. The love of her life was cheated out of the rest of it. Tomlin, darling, we'd love if you could say a few words. The parents of the dead woman step aside, and her fiancé takes the place at the podium. The man identified as Tomlin is dressed simply, and he clutches a bunch of flowers tightly in one hand. He takes a moment looking out over the crowd, visibly holding back tears. Thank you all so much for coming today, he says with a sigh. We are gathered to remember the beautiful shining light that was my bride-to-be. Before growing to love her, I never thought I was the marrying kind. Now, it seems more like fate than a choice. Does that mean the wolf is back on the prowl? Does that mean the wolf is back on the prowl? Whispers one man near to you to a friend. Lock up your sisters and daughters. And wives, the friend replies with a snicker. Both are shushed by women who seem to be their wives, both women sharing embarrassed glances. Others nearby in the crowd look over at the pair of would-be comedians with glares and mouthed insults. My darling wife-to-be was a simple soul, he says. Her favorite flowers were daisies. She liked the colored lavender. Anything made of silk was the height of sophistication. Despite Tomlin's grief, the two men are still whispering lewdly and sniggering. The women seated beside the would-be comedians glare at them and exchanged exasperated looks with one another. Oblivious to what was happening in front of you, Tomlin closes his eyes to collect himself with a sigh before continuing. To put it simply, Maybelline's death has torn a hole in my heart, in my life, and cannot be filled. But I will try. Work will help, I'm sure. And giving back to all of you who have done so much for me, especially in these dark times. I can only try to repay your kindness. I truly love you all. And you are all welcome at my home at any time. The audience applauds respectfully and murmurs condolences. Right away, however, something seems odd about the situation. I may either use an investigation check or an insight check to determine what's piquing your interest. Insight is 4. Investigation is -1. Think I'm gonna go with the insight. Oh, jeez. All right. Nope, nothing happens. I don't notice anything. Oh, insight. Was that insight or investigation? Insight. Okay, good. People are behaving oddly, but you're not quite sure what is odd about them. That I failed? Though you can't quite put your finger on what it is, Tomlin has an odd relationship with the town. Obviously, he's well liked, but there's more to it than that. Before you can figure out, a red-bearded dwarf takes over from the grieving fiancé. Volume needs to be adjusted. The dwarf is dressed in hides and homespun cloth, while his hair and beard seem struggling to break free from the leather cords he's used to style them. He's clean now, but something in the dwarf's demeanor suggests this is his version of dressing up. Checking something real quick. All right. Welcome, people of Langston, he says with a warm smile that makes his eyes sparkle. As sad as I am to see Maybelline return to the Earth, I want to remind Langston to choose life. As you all know, I'm grateful my circle assigned me to Langston. There's a murmur of assent in the crowd and a few raised glasses. And you have all made it so easy for me. You have respected the forest and its inhabitants, and in return, I have been happy to act as both spiritual counsel and guiding hand for the forces of nature around us. I join you in grieving the loss of a wonderful member of this community, and I hope you will join me in welcoming her back into the cycle of life. He mutters a spell as his hands begin to radiate a faint green glow, but he's interrupted by a sneezing fit, after which his beard and hair thicken and stand on end. He smooths his hair and regains his composure. Excuse me, he says with a deep growl in his voice. He clears his throat and completes his spell, causing a splash of extraordinarily bright wildflowers to bloom on the dais on which the casket rests. He nods in approval at his own work before turning to the crowd, raising a glass and smiling broadly. To life! He downs his drink along with others in the crowd. But you're more interested in the strange reaction the local druid had to the sneezing fit. Arcana or perception? Arcana's -1, perception is a +4. We're going to go perception. I didn't see what number it was. Shoot. 14. You focus your senses on the bushy-haired druid, especially those odd changes that occurred during his sneezing fit. Perception check, come on. One of these days I'm going to roll well, right? Come on. Oh my god. Get a less than 10. Go to 10. The druid is behaving oddly. Take it easy. But you could just as easily be but that could just as easily be explained by the strain of the situation. He seems like a happy, well-adjusted person, but is somehow a bit off balance. The next speaker in the ceremony is approaching. An unobtrusive young human woman in the vestments of a sun cleric, steps up to the crowd to speak. Though you met her in the street, the young sun cleric seems like a different person behind the podium. She speaks clearer and stands up straighter. She seems possessed of a confidence you didn't get from the same sweet but a little scattered young woman you met on your way to the Pickled Hen. Most of you from town know me, but I see some unfamiliar faces, she says. I am Selene, a member of the Radiant Order and custodian of Langston's Easter Temple. May the light guide you. Several people reflectively respond with, and you. They then make a salutation of the right hand touching the heart and then moving it into an arc overhead, reminding you of a sun rising and setting overhead. Given the cleric's youth, it's obvious her order has a long history in this town. Though we are in dark shadows cast by our loss, she continues, the sun will shine forever on Maybelline, as her presence was a bright shining light to all of us. I did not know Maybelline well in life, but it is clear that she has touched the lives of everyone here in this room. She looks directly at Tomlin and smiles kindly. And my heart goes out to you, especially, Tomlin. Know that my door is always open to you. And then she leads the service in a hymn she introduces as coming from the Rathkenar book of funerary rites. It seems that no one in the audience knows it, but she sings anyways in a high, sweet voice, and the crowd labors to keep up with her. Oh, darn it, I have to sing. She sings, as we guard the light with you and drive the shadows away, the radiant sword of your heart, the evils of darkness slay. Though you're gone from our sight, in our heart of hearts remain, rest well in the light of the sun, and the shield of the faith is sustain. Though the cleric appears on the earnest and sincere, the difference between the woman you met outside and the one standing before you now is stark. You may opt to roll either a religion check or an insight check. Insight. 43. Cleric's role as a spiritual leader clashes with the shy demeanor she displayed earlier, so you consider what may actually be motivating her. Let's go with insight. There we go. 10 or more. 45. Right there. Selene seems distracted as she delivers her prayers. Her gaze drifts towards Tomlin as she speaks, often lingering longer than on any of the others in the crowd. And at least once, when she addresses him directly, the handsome herbalist's face registers warmth, familiarity, and something else you can't quite figure out in that fleeting moment. There is a lot more to unpack in how she's speaking and acting, especially as it relates to the aggrieved fiancé. But it's only the slightest hint of what she might be going through beneath the veneer of a spiritual leader. The mayor looms behind Selene for a moment before the cleric notices and retreats from the front of the crowd. Selene recedes into the background. The half-orc mayor stands rigid with her hand clasped behind her back. She cuts a powerful figure with her broad shoulders and battle scars, but she maintains an air of sophistication with a well-made suit in the noble style. An enormous mastiff pads up to her side and sits beside her, reigning equally still. Though her heritage stands out to you in the mostly human town of Langston, no one else seems to notice. Sit, Buttercup, she says to the dog in a heavy accent. The dog immediately seats itself at her side. The mayor returns her attention to the crowd of attendees. Tanya Anathram was a soldier before she was your mayor, she begins, laying a hand over her heart. Langston welcomed me, gave me place to heal after the battle of 3 Rivers. There, I fought to defend the people from a barbarian horde, and I will protect the people of Langston. She looks out into the crowd, moving just her eyes as the rest of her remains perfectly still. Her huge dog could be a statue for all it moves. There is a killer out there in the darkness, she says, and her eyes lock on yours. We do not know what it is, but it took one of the citizens under my protection. We will find whatever took this life and end the threat. This is my promise to you. A ripple of soft applause and angry muttering sweeps through the crowd. The dog's head tracks both sounds for a moment before glancing at the mayor, returning to its vigil. She turns to address the family of the deceased. I am so sorry for your loss, she says, and then steps away from the casket and starts making her way through the crowd towards you. As she makes her way to where you're standing, I can make either a history check or animal handling check. 2 for animal. History is -1. I'm going to do animal handling. Mayor Anathram's dog is incredibly impressive in training. I'm going to try to roll an animal handling and see what that does. 5. 47. Tanya is just a little too stoic, a little too tightly controlled, making you think she is holding something back or hiding something. Her dog is also seriously impressive, but that doesn't help much either. Maybe you can get more from her when she arrives in a moment. You are an adventurer, yes? She says to you. When you answer in the affirmative, she continues. Then I suppose you will do for now. Between her rumbling Orcish accent and deadpan delivery, it's impossible to tell what she actually thinks about you. But she does make a sweeping gesture towards the bar and then starts off. This stern woman is obviously not one for pleasantries. As you follow behind her, she stops to speak to a prone, balding man you can only assume is the innkeeper. And the town will pay the investigators room and board. This is acceptable. The innkeeper cuts you a glance, but nods. Their business concluded. Mayor Anathram returns to you with a key to your room. You ask why she would hire you. I know your type, adventurer, mercenary, hero for hire. Doesn't matter what you call yourself. The people are scared and they need someone, so I'm hiring you. And since you're an outsider If you fail, it will not reflect badly on the town. You start to thank her, but she cuts you off. I do not yet know you, she says as she holds up a hand, and I may not get time to do so if this killer gets to you next. You're here for the people and for me. As long as you are investigating this young woman's murder, we will pay for your stay. You will come to the town hall tomorrow, as tonight is not the time to discuss the details in this case. Sleep well. She nods once, through, though it's unclear whether that's a farewell or an agreement of some kind, and then returns to her duties, reassuring the funeral goers. You remain standing dumbfounded for a moment as a figure breaks away from the crowd and moves towards you. It's Tomlin, the village herbalist and fiancé of the deceased. Hello, he says. His eyes are almost entrancing up so close. I haven't met you yet. How did you know Maybelline? You reply that you just arrived in town, but that the mayor has requested your help with the investigation. He looks you over and nods as if you passed some sort of assessment. Welcome then. Thank you very much for doing this for us. Please, come to my home for whatever you need. I need to know what happened to my Maybelline. You bid the grieving man good night, and he gives you a smile that is dazzling despite its sadness. He moves on to speak to other guests, and you make your way to your room. 26. And that is a good stopping point. I'm going to take a long rest and come back at another time. Thank you for watching.